was so overwhelming and so strong. He said all he felt was love when he saw my son, and that's why they broke his. That's why they bothered him so much, because they were instructed to harass him the most. My son was the one who got it the most, and he came in and he got rid of. He says he got rid of all 7 of them. They gave us cups with salt and water that we were supposed to change out every couple days for an extended period of time, and we really haven't had much since. They said you might have some residual energy, just like negative energy that'll make you uncomfortable sometimes, but they said you really shouldn't have anything else take place, and I haven't since. But coming from someone who never believed in this sort of thing, this scared the shit out of me. I mean, all my money was in this house. Where was I going to go? Mm-hmm. And I worked so hard to get this house. This was my children's home, and I really didn't want to give it up. But unbest known to me, the people before us, they were getting a divorce when they sold the house.
So you got even more negative energy just feeding the whole thing.
Here's the kicker. The husband lost his job because he couldn't sleep at night.
Oh, wow.
I found this out later on. I actually went and talked to the previous homeowner, and I said, "What happened?" I said, "Why'd you get a divorce?" He goes, "What's going on at the house?" I said, now I got angry with him. I'm like, "Why didn't you say something to us?" I said, we had 2 small children. And he said, I couldn't sleep at night. He said, and that's all he would tell me.
Oh, he was just trying to get the hell out of that house.
Right. And
I'm not going to tell them. Shit, these guys are going to buy it.
Right. And he's like, I wound up losing my job because I was late all the time. So, I mean, you could take that for what it's worth. I think that they were trying to keep me up at night, so I wouldn't go to work, and I'd lose my house, and then we'd have to leave the house. So that was pretty insidious within itself. But for me, like I said, I had never experienced anything like this before, and I am a believer now, and I've done my research on things like this, and I've seen how they've wrecked families because they never went for help. Either someone just completely disavows what the spouse is saying or what the child is saying. It causes a lot of fighting. Every once in a while, I would get waves of anger that came over me for like the silliest little things, and like rage. I mean, like rage where like I'd want to break something.
Wow! And it would just come over you for no reason.
Right, the type of rage where it would be the equivalent of like finding your wife with another man. That type of rage, and just for no reason. Like I would just get angry, like out of nowhere. My wife would ask me what I'd want for dinner, and I would just snap. And I've never been like that. Like I'm usually a pretty level-headed person, and I don't like confrontation. And she was shocked, like she was really surprised, and I'd have to take a walk. Mm-hmm. I'd leave the house and I'd go for a walk. And I mean that happened few and far between, but I definitely think it was attributed to that because we're not under any financial duress. There was no added stressors in the house or anything like that. There was no reason for me to be like that. I wasn't on edge about anything. I wasn't sure if I was going to keep my job or anything like that. No one was sick, and it would just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
So that's the story. But the picture for me really drove it home. They had a couple people look at it. They sent it to the UK. They had a friend there, and he thought it was a person turning their head left to right. I thought it looked like a wolf. They were investigating to see if it was Native American, like a burial ground or something like that, and nothing came up for that.
Did the Native Americans have souls?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
We already said that. We already said that the kebabs don't have souls. Do Native Americans have souls?
I guess so.
Yeah,
but I thought it looked like a wolf,
which
scared me because I'm terrified of werewolves.
Really?
Werewolves. Well, you know what? Think about it. Werewolves, you don't have to invite them in their house. They're running through your wall if they want to. Vampire, right. You got to invite them in. But, that was my story. Nothing, too dramatic. A couple things got knocked off my son's armoire, like a couple toys, and a couple doors would close on occasion. Not slam, but they would just close. You'd walk into the house through the basement, through the garage, and you go up the steps, and you just felt unwelcome. And that's a bad feeling to have in your own home.
Yeah, that is. I can't.
Where are you supposed to?
Yeah, exactly. You own the home. Where are you supposed to go?
Where are you supposed to go? I for the longest time, I'd come home from working late, and I'd find them all on the couch sleeping. They wouldn't go upstairs. So then I started getting frustrated. I'm like, I'm spending all this money, and you're only using a quarter of the house. Mm-hmm. So at that point, I was like, something needs to be done.
So how did you go about locating removal services or whatever? What did you? I
actually Googled it.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, there was a removal service, paranormal investigators, a town over, and they weren't like some shanty town sort of thing. They had a nice website design. They had their cases documented. I talked to them because you never know. Like sometimes these people, they might just ransack your house.
Right. Yeah.
But they were really, really good people, and I was very fortunate and blessed to have met them. They had all their cases documented. They had one demonic case where they were terrified. They actually, he said and the guy's a big guy too. He said he ran out of the basement screaming like a little girl. They heard some growling and like a snapping noise, like something snapping its jaw.
Wow.
Yeah, and he said that was enough for him to run out like a little girl and regroup.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So like I said, I've always watched like Ghost Adventures and things of that nature, and I never really believed in it. It was all for entertainment value until it smacks you in the mouth.
Yeah. Right, I bet.
And, that was a very harrowing experience for me and my family. My little guy, every once in a while, he'll still come into our bed, but he actually goes and plays in his bedroom now. Like, it was so bad, all his toys are in his bedroom. He wouldn't even go in there without one of us with him. And here's the funny part, though. Nothing ever happened to my daughter. Nothing. She never heard anything, never saw anything, they never bothered her. Nothing.
Maybe she's like spiritually or like psychically insulated or something.
Maybe. My wife seems to think that she's sensitive to, but every woman that I meet thinks that she's like some sort of medium.
I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. Okay.
Oh my God.
Now you said these guys did this pro bono?
Mm-hmm. They do it for free.
Wow.
I tried to pay them. I tried to give them like $200-300 because they probably spent a total of, probably 30 hours at my house. They put in a lot of work, man. And they were very kind to my children, and I tried to pay them, like maybe, to upgrade their equipment or just money for when things go bad with their equipment. And they wouldn't take the money.
So do these guys do this in their spare time, or what?
Yes, this is not. It's not their full-time job. They do it their spare time. The one guy works for an airport, and I think the other one is a stay-at-home mom. His wife. But it's they just do it in their spare time. They said they want to help people. He said he had an experience as a child, and his parents wound up having to sell the house. He said it profoundly affected him because he said he didn't want other people to have to go through that. Mm-hmm. And he saw how it affected his family.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, how that can affect a family. It's like, if the husband's not seeing it, or if the wife's not seeing it, or if the parents aren't seeing that, and they just think the kid is making it up or something. That'd be right up there with financial, troubles, for arguments.
Right. And for the longest time, I felt very guilty because I'm telling my son, I'm like, stop being a little baby, go upstairs.
Right.
Go play in your room. And then the guilt set in, and I was like, oh my God,
Right. Well, my kid, doesn't like to shower by himself because he's afraid he's going to get eaten by a whale. But that's a legitimate, little kid. I'm like, dude, stop it. All right. Because when I was a kid, I saw Jaws, and the tub was going to open up and I was going to get eaten by a great white shark. Those movies scare kids, but I don't know where he gets it to get eaten by a whale. But I'm like, we're a good 50 miles